Welcome to the series where we're going to take you on a journey to be more self-sufficient.
What more do you want?
As I'm going to rekindle our passion for easy-to-follow DIY.
Perfect.
We'll be looking back at the TV archives to rediscover the very best homes and gardens advice.
Aerate the soil of the area that you're going to returf.
From some of the nation's favourite experts.
The potatoes in the ground have been very successful.
Showing you how, even with limited tools,
Who's first for the sausages, then?
we can all master the basic skills. Now that is solid. Everything from upcycling, we're going to have fun, quick fixes,
You see how easy it comes off?
right through to the builds that we all need to know.
There's really not a lot to it.
Plus, in my workshop, I'll be sharing my simple home hacks. It works a treat. And demos to get everybody started. If you can pinch an inch, you've done it too loose. Inspiring you to do it all yourself. Saving you money and finally tackling those everyday jobs together. Job done and dusted. Today, we've picked out some real treats for you on how you can spruce up your home, garden, or old items. And we've got some handy tips on showing you how to get creative. And you don't need to be a DIY expert. We've got tips for all levels. Today, Fiona sources and hangs an old reclaimed door.
It doesn't fit, I'm going to wang it with my hammer.
We get tons of tips and tricks on how to rejuvenate an old bench.
There we go, beautiful job.
To finding out a super useful way to upcycle a pallet.
Thank you very much.
Plus, I'm going to be demonstrating how I can turn some old wood into a hallway tidy. Sometimes I do things a bit like that, or like that, or really, I like that. And the hack that may mean you never have to buy dishwasher tablets again. Oh, that smells nice. First up, Sarah's taking some tiles and combining them with an everyday item to create a very revealing result.
Well, I'm certainly not short of mosaic tiles. There are thousands of them here, and they're white and they're brand new and they're a tiny bit boring. In fact, I can sort of see why they were being thrown away. But I've got a really good idea for them, and it involves using my old mirror. It's been lying around for ages. It owes me nothing. Not terribly inspiring either, but together, I hope I can put them into a design that makes them look beautiful. So what I need to do first is make a big, solid frame to go around the mirror. So I've got something to mount the mosaics on. And I've got some MDF outside and some power tools.
Good old medium density fibreboard. How many of you knew that's what MDF stood for? First, Sarah has to draw round the mirror to make sure she cuts the right sized hole. It has to be a snug fit when it's dropped into her homemade frame.
Time to get tiling. Well, plain white just isn't going to cut it, so I've got some fantastic metallics. I'm going to spray the tiles in whole sheets and then use them to make a more intricate, maybe sunburst design onto the mirror.
Metallic bronze first, nice choice.
Oh, that's a bit of a relief. They're looking less boring. Right, another colour.
Let me guess, would it be pastel pink next?
Ooh, that's girly. There's more coming. I've got all sorts of colours.
Sarah's obviously got a clear idea of what it'll look like when it's finished.
If I'm completely honest, I'm not quite sure what this mirror is going to look like. I just want to make sure that I've got all my options covered.
Do you think this is how the Romans created their intricate mosaics? Perhaps not with the spray paint.
So I've got my base colours. What I'm going to do is stick a really good load onto the mirror base and then add a few more subtle colours to give it some detail. But I want it to be bright and beautiful and just celebrate all these great little squares. Apparently, it's really easy. You just use waterproof PVA to glue the tiles in place, make a pretty pattern, grout over it. Job's a good one. One down, 1,000 to go. 2. Wish I had one of those time-lapse functions. Then it would all be done instantly.
All you have to do is ask, Sarah.
So I think I'm going to make this mirror circular. So I'm just going to build up a few more layers, then cut round so I know exactly where to cut to get a nice edge. And hopefully it should look all right. But I might leave it square, you never know. So some of the paint is coming off with the grout, and I always sort of knew that was going to happen. But a perfect, pristine finish, I was never going to go for one of those, was I?
When Sarah found the glass tiles, they were lacking glamour. But now, they provide a circle of vivid colour surrounding what was once a dull, distressed mirror. Using a variety of spray paint colours, enhanced by hand-painted highlights of gold, Sarah has glued them into a concentric mosaic, grouted the gaps and created a contemporary mirror. Maybe it would look good above a shoe cupboard.
Well, I am so pleased that the mirror is now finished.
A mirror is a really perfect thing to get creative with because there are so many ways you can upcycle it. If you can make a frame, you can decorate it how you want. You can put rope around the edge, you can spray it, you can add a little bit of sparkle. It's entirely up to you. Now it's getting warmer, you might want to sit outside. But as with all experience, some garden furniture doesn't survive the winter months. Here's Russell to show us how to freshen up that old worn-out garden furniture and give it a new lease of life.
This bench, as you can see for yourselves, has seen better days. It would seem an awful shame to me to just throw this on the tip. So what we're going to do is refurbish it. And first things first, we've got to get rid of this old rotten wood. Now, the obvious thing to use here is a spanner, but it actually won't do much for you because this is so rusted that the only way to get it off is to use a hacksaw. There we go, beautiful job. Right, that's the first one. I've got a few more to go and then the job's done. Good, right, that's that one done. Just a couple more to go now. Well, luckily, this one's coming away really nicely, so no need to cut that one. And there's the job done. Should just pull away from that. And there you go. Now, these end pieces are really what make this bench special. They're made of cast iron, and obviously I need to clean them up. How am I going to do it? Well, I could use wet and dry and sand it all down. I could use wire wool, I could use a wire brush, I could use those attachments you fit to a drill, but I'm a bit of a lazy so-and-so, so I'm going to send these away to be sandblasted. Well, we've got the ends of the bench back from the sand blasters and they look absolutely brilliant. It saved me one heck of a job, that, stripping off the old paint. Now, this paint here doesn't need any kind of primer at all, and it's supposed to go onto metal, which is good news. And all I'm doing here is putting it on nice and thickly, and it should be touch dry in about 30 minutes, and then I'll be able to put the next coat on. Now, this is the wood we've decided to use. It's 120 by 40 mil, planed all round, and that needs treating, but we'll do that in just a wee while because first what we want to do is replicate this little beveled edge here. Let me show you. Now, I just need to measure across, get my centre point, which is there, and then I need to divide it up. So I now have 3 equal parts. What I'm then going to do is just mark across an angle that looks about right. You don't have to worry too much about being too precious about this. All we're trying to do is create something that is basically cosmetic. So I'm going to cut those 2 bits off now. Good, right. Just need to get a bit of sandpaper on that now. So all we're doing here is just softening the edges, just rounding it up. Well, that's the last of them. All I need to do now is give them a little lick of paint and then put it all together. Just giving it a final coat of paint. And I have to say, I think she looks absolutely fantastic. Took me about half a day to do and cost about £50, which ain't bad, is it, for a garden bench? I'm pleased with that. Really does look the business. Excellent.
Sandblasting is a great way to revitalise metals. But, as Russell said, there are other ways to do it, like sandpapering, but that will take a lot of work. This is a great principle. So think about the piece of furniture and how best to bring it back to life. It could be a chair leg or it could be a table. If, like me, you get fed up with losing your keys every 5 minutes or letters all over the place, I've got a perfect solution. I'm going to show you how to take 2 bits of wood and turn it into a key and hallway tidy. If you're making it, it's going to save you some dosh. We're going to use a drill on this one, so remember, safety first. All you need is a bit of timber, and you can get this cut from your timber yard, and off-cut. I've got some wedges that I've attached through there, so I've just pre-drilled a hole, screwed it straight through, so it holds it there. So now, what I'm going to do is just screw it from behind so this stays on solid. And I'll repeat the process on the other side. Little tip is measure the height just to make sure that it's nice and level. So when you get it upright, your letter holder is not looking like it's going around a corner. Now that is secure. And as I said, you can do exactly the same thing with cardboard. You can make your own little wedges and you can just glue it together. You don't need to use the screws. Next stage, you get your hooks and then position them where you want them. No need to put them up too high because you won't be able to hook anything on. You can have a look at it and think, oh, that'll work. I like things a little bit odd, so sometimes I do things a bit like that, or really, I like that, where you've got one for the little ones, they can hook something on there, making sure it's keeping tidy, and then one for the big boys. So those are screwed in, nice and secure. Now you could, if you wanted to go even cheaper, you could use a bit of cardboard. With this, you can drill a couple of holes in the timber, put it against the wall and drill it in. Or, what I've done here is I've attached 2 hooks. You could then attach some rope. Doesn't have to be anything like this. And there you go. You can actually hook it up. So it's entirely up to you. And it doesn't even have to be keys. If you don't want your keys in the front door, why not put the dog lead, the umbrella, the hats, stuff that you know you need as you go out. And then you can use this bit say smile to the family as they go out the house. It's as simple as that. Getting professionals in to hang your doors can be expensive, especially if you've got a few of them. Next up is Fiona, and she's going to share with us her secrets on how to do it.
Is this the door?
It is.
It looks like an internal door to me. It's got perspex, hardboard, a very dodgy lock and a handle that's falling off. You might actually find that you're not insured if you get burgled with this door.
Really?
Yeah, because it's an internal door and you really need to put an exterior door on here and it needs to have a proper mortise lock on it. OK? My suggestion would be that we go up to the reclaim yard.
Here's your tape measure. Know what you're looking for? Not really, except I would like something that works, and preferably something with a bit of glass in it.
OK. Deirdre, this door's got your name on it.
It's lovely.
It's almost the right size. It's got glass. It's the right thickness. It's got everything you need. This is the outside of the door, and I know that because generally doors are puttied on the outside. Now, one thing which we noticed is that the hinges are on the opposite side to the original door, and there's 2 things we can do about that. We can either move the hinges or we can rehang the door on the opposite side of the frame, which is what we're going to do, and we'll just make the holes on this side. Bob's your uncle. This door is just the right width, so I haven't had to take anything off the sides, but the top and bottom will have to be trimmed. What I've done here is I've lined the door up with the door frame and marked off the top, which I'm now going to plane off. Once that's done, we're going to do the same thing with the bottom, and we'll end up with a clearance of 2 millimetres all the way around, 6 millimetres at the bottom. That gives you perfect clearance for opening and closing a door. What I've done is I've aligned the door up and I've attached it using 1 screw in each hinge. I'm going inside now and you can come if you want. Oh, that was quick. As I thought, this hinge does need to be rebaited because you can see it's pulling the door completely out of line at this side. So if I chisel that out, it'll all be lined up perfectly correct. The bottom one's fine. I'm going back out now. I can't believe I'm breaking all these rules. What a rebel. This is the 5-lever mortise lock for the door. If in doubt, consult the instructions that come with the lock. Perfect. Right, the next part of the job is to actually scribe around the lock because this front plate needs to be recessed in. I'm now going to chisel out around these lines so that the whole plate sits flush with the door. The next stage is to mark up for the spindle for the door handle and the keyhole, and you do this by lining the latch up on the end of the door with the area that you've just chiselled out, and then you mark through, and you do this on both sides, and then using a 16mm drill bit for the spindle in this case, drill through into the cavity, and an 8mm drill bit for the keyhole, and your lock is almost fitted. Hallelujah! The final part of this job is to fit the key to the frame. This has to be drilled and chiselled out in the same way as the lock. This doesn't fit, I'm going to wang it with my hammer.
Don't wang it.
Now, obviously, it's a hard job. And if you're going to do this yourself, you might need to get someone to help you. But you can always source the doors yourself because that's going to save you some money. Just make sure you do your research because there's a lot to consider when you're buying a door. Still to come, EJ turned some old stools into something completely different.
I reckon I can make a really lovely bench.
And I'm going to show you how to make your very own laptop stand. We're always planning to avoid disappointment. Perspex desks are stylish and very modern, but they can be expensive. Here's Jake showing us how you can make your own.
So, come on, what's the plan today then, Jake? What are you up to?
We've got little Alex's room. We've got a nice little curvy desk for him to sit at and do his homework. And a lot of charts. Yeah.
Right, well, there's lots to be done, so
Yep,
crack
kick
on.
Yep.
Right, here are then.
Yeah.
The legs.
The legs. You have a lovely legs. Right, perfect, because we're going to need them. Right, this is going to be Alex's little tabletop.
Yes.
OK, we're going to have a little board, a little display board, where you can put these little notes and stuff on like that. So all I've done, I've just drawn this out of MDF, a little curve. I'm going to transfer it onto the Perspex over here.
Right.
So, if you can hold that straight on there, yeah?
So you're using this
As a template.
acrylic as the actual top. This is just the template.
Yeah, I've just made a template
Okay.
just to get it spot on. Because what I'm going to do is make a frame. Let me just show you here quickly.
Yeah.
So 2x2, oblong, like that. Get my boring bit, hole there, hole there, hole there, hole there. And that'll be for the legs.
Yes.
We draw around it, and then just like
And
this.
then just cut.
And just cut away. Now, the thing with Perspex as well is to make sure you've got the right cutting blade.
Right.
Okay? Don't just get any old wood blade, otherwise it will just crack the whole lot.
Yes.
So I'm actually using a blade which cuts aluminium and steel.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going to cut the Perspex with that. Now, if you are doing straight lines, you can use a knife, okay?
Really?
And a straight edge, cut all the way down, and then it'll break straight off. Right then, my darling, grab those glasses. We're going to have fun.
Last night I had a dream about you. In this dream, I'm dancing beside you.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Yep, that's the old shape. Nice little curve. So like I said, I'm going to make a 2x2 frame now, fix that,
Yeah.
and then we'll get the legs on, and then we'll drill through the Perspex.
Wonderful.
Jake, can I give you a hand?
Of course you can. Right, I'm just measuring up for the holes. Now this is Alex's tabletop, and we have a notice board in it as well. Here's the notice board, so that will go attached to the back, up like that, OK? So you can pull these little things on. I've actually found some of this grill, so I'm going to put that on top of the board, and then I'll cut it out with a jigsaw or some tin snips.
Okay.
Now, as you can see, I've cut this lovely little sexy curve all the way around like that with my jigsaw, OK?
Yep.
Now, underneath, I've got a bit of pine. Now, I don't want to see that pine, so what I'd like you to do is spray it all silver for me.
Okay.
There's your mask. OK, straight on like that. All right?
Yep.
Now, I've got a bit of sheeting down here, so let's just move that out the way. Keep shaking it as you go, keep it about 6 inches away, and like that. You got your mask?
Yep.
Off you go. Well done.
I know what to do about this dream and you. We'll make these dreams come true.
A job well done then for the big strong boys.
A big round of applause.
Big pats on the back. So you chuffed with what you did today?
Yeah, no, the room's turned out really, really well.
Well, thank you very much, boys.
No worries.
Great day.
No worries.
Make sure you use wood screws to attach the Perspex top to the wooden legs. And don't over-tighten. The Perspex will crack. If, like me, your dishwasher's always on and you're using a lot of tablets, I've got an easy way to make your own. And it's going to save you some cash. Remember, if you're using any chemicals, make sure you wear some safety goggles. All you need is 150 ml of citric acid, 150 ml of bicarbonate of soda, 37.5 ml of white distilled vinegar, and 37.5 ml of dishwasher salt. And a few drops of either lemon or grapefruit essential oils. And let's not forget your ice cube tray. This is what will form your dishwasher tablet shape. First, you put all of the dry ingredients in. Once you've added all your dry ingredients, you then add the wet stuff. Woo! And while I'm mixing that, I'm just gonna get my essential oils and add a couple of drops in. Oh, that smells nice. So you can see that it's expanding. And basically what you want to do is just continue mixing it until it stops expanding. And then you want to transfer it over into there, but don't fill up the tray right to the top because it's still going to expand a bit. Get a teaspoon. And just put a little amount in there. This will take a little while to stop expanding, but once it's set, it's going to set really quickly, so make sure you don't take your eye off the ball. Now this feels like it's setting. So all you've got to do now, leave that overnight, and once that's set, pop them out and use them when you're ready. Tell you what, I'm never running out of dishwasher tablets again. There are so many ways to plant, whether that be in a pot, a bed, or a hanging basket. And if you want to do vertical planting, now that's tricky. Danny and AJ show us a great technique in how to maximise your space when you're building an outdoor planter.
Blimey, it's raining, as usual. Yeah. Not to worry, because I've got plans for this area. I want to pack it full to the gunnels with furniture. You've got nothing in this area that we can recycle, so we're going to have to go out and find it.
Make the most of it, guys. You won't be gone for long. They're meeting just the man for the job, local garden centre manager Tony Hilditch.
Now, I don't know if you can help us at all, but we're on the hunt for some pallets.
Pallets, shipping, well, like transport pallets.
Transport pallets, that's it. I've noticed you've got some around the front.
We have.
Have you got any others lying around?
Yeah, I should have some somewhere.
Great.
Like most garden centres and lots of other businesses, Tony takes delivery of plants, pots and compost on wooden pallets like these.
Now, these are great because, you know, we're getting furniture for free.
With AJ's van packed full of pallets, it's time for the boys to head back to the garden.
How's it going? What's going on here? What are you building?
Your standalone flower...
Are you really?
thing.
Oh, that's
you
brilliant.
said about maybe having one standalone because there isn't much wall space.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, how am I going to get a pallet just to stand up by itself without putting feet on it? Might be a trip hazard, things like that. So I've cut some of these pallets down. I've got one section there. Then there's going to be 2 sections on the 2-bit, and then 3 sections on the 3-bit. So your plants are going to can go in here, here, and here, here, and here, and here.
Yeah, I love it. What's brilliant about this is that it's portable. You can move it around the garden, so you've got a forever changing scenery.
Yeah, I've just carried this up halfway up the Welsh mountains for you.
Thank you very much.
Where do you want it? Come on, let's move us in where you want this to be.
Let's move it in, shall we?
Maybe a little bit of a brush down and then up there on the tarpaulin.
Let's leave it there for now.
Where do you want it? Before we push it up against the wall.
Up here.
Where you want it? Off the ground? Oh no, mate. We haven't got anything to get it off the ground.
See, ideally, I'd have preferred it off the ground, but if that's not possible...
How about... I've got something in the van that would give it 2 legs. It look a bit more like a billboard up against the wall.
That would be better.
Yeah?
The reason being is that I want to put trailing plants down there.
So they're about this long. Would that be fine if that's
That'd
that
be
far
great.
off the ground?
Yeah,
because that'll take the weight of it, and then just 2 screws in the wall will hold it from falling.
That's brilliant. Something like that would be fine. So that's going to take the weight of the pallet. So...
Just going to screw in here
Screw
now.
into the wall.
Make a mark on the wall.
And that'd
drill
be
into
nice.
There, plug and a screw.
These Lewisias, they grow in the mountains of North America, and they will grow out of the sides, out of crevices. So they don't need to take in much to survive. They need very little soil, and they need very little water. The idea is to pack these in so there's loads of colour, and these Lewisias, they will flower from spring right through to the autumn. Now look at that, that looks great against the black of the planters. I think it works really wonderfully well. A fantastic plant.
Remember, you can always use the planter to grow food or herbs, and you can downscale it to bring it inside or have it on a balcony. Also, have a think about what else you could use as a planter. You could cut down a plastic bottle, you can use an old tin, maybe even a bucket. Just get creative. When it comes to upcycling, EJ is the boss. Looking at one thing and seeing something completely different, now that's a real talent, and he's got it. And what he does is he turns some old stools into something pretty amazing.
They're a bit tired, but they're really lovely and solid. So what I might like to do is make a really nice bench. So if I use the bottom as structures, really solid structures, remove the top and anything else unnecessary, I reckon I can make a really lovely contemporary bench. So that's the project. I better get on with it.
EJ's plan is to transform these tired and tatty stalls into a modern Scandinavian-style bench.
This is making me dizzy.
He's taking the stalls apart so he can sand away the peeling varnish and stains accrued over 20 years of wear and tear.
There's always one.
Ah, that pesky stubborn screw that wants to make life difficult. But EJ knows how to handle these tricky types.
Yes. Nice and clean. One more section. Winner. Yes. Right. I've got all the pieces apart. Now I'm going to sand them and see what's underneath.
Yeah, sounds to me like we're going to be getting some power tool action. Oh, toothbrush action? How disappointing. It's my favourite bit when they get the power tools out.
These little spindle things, they don't need sanding. They've got lots of this white chalky stuff trapped in their grooves. So just a little bit of a wire brush, just removes all that. Easy peasy.
For the bench seat, EJ has the perfect piece of timber. It was salvaged from a tree that was uprooted in a storm.
What a beast. This is a huge piece of ash tree. It's wonderful, it's massive, it's chunky, it's got a beautiful grain, and it's really, really hard wearing, so it's going to make the perfect kind of seat.
To cut this slab of ash to the correct thickness, EJ is using the handily named Thicknesser. Inside the machine is a dual-edge rotating blade, which will accurately strip the wood down to the desired thickness. Doing multiple passes, shaving tiny amounts off each time, will help to prevent damage to the grain that EJ wants to be a real feature.
Look at that. It's smooth, it's clean, I love it, and this is going to make a beautiful bench.
He's got his bench seat. Now all he has to do is remember how to assemble his bench legs.
I've got to remember how this all goes back together. Oh my goodness, what have I let myself in for? So that bit goes on there.
I'm not sure that's right. EJ's ready to unveil his bench.
I hope all the hard work's paid off.
EJ's plan was to create a contemporary Scandinavian-style piece of furniture from these sturdy little stools. There's certainly an inspired simplicity to his bench. The straight-edge paintwork on the feet contrasts with the natural finish of the wood, achieved by painstakingly sanding away the flaking varnish and dirt. The stools, however, support the real star of the show, the slice of ash used as the seat. The soft curves of the edge give the bench a warm and welcoming come and have a little sit-down feel, which all furniture designed for bums should have.
If you don't have the right tools at home, don't worry. You can seek out a professional, or most timber yards offer a cutting service, so you can get the timber cut to the exact size you want. If you fancy taking on a project like this, you can use anything for legs. You can use the hairpin style or big industrial metal legs, entirely up to you. Mix up the materials. A lot more of us are working from home these days, and if you're using a laptop, one thing you might get is a bad back. Well, I'm here to help. I'm going to show you how to make a laptop stand, and all you need is a few bits of wood. So, what you need is a piece of timber. You can get this from a timber yard, cut to any size, but I recommend having it bigger than your laptop. I've got a few holes pre-drilled, but one of my most important ones is that one there, which holds me pen. Oh, nice. So you've got the holes pre-drilled, and I've got some of these wedges, and I got these from the timber yard. I saw they was cutting some stuff, and I had these offcuts, and I asked them if they would sell them to me, and they just gave them to me. And I got loads of offcuts in there. And basically, that is going to give us that lip there. But to stop your laptop floating off of your bench, you've got to have something like this. Now, I've used these little bits of timber, but you could put just one whole piece there. Even if you don't have a drill and you haven't got all these holes pre-drilled, you can just get some wood glue, stick it on your wedge, put it on there, leave it overnight, and that's good. Got to be really strong wood glue, though. Let's put it together. Always check out your screw depth to see how much is coming through. So, as you can see, there's my pre-drilled hole. It's roughly about there. So that's perfect. If it was the longer one, it might just poke through, and I don't want that. Let's go for the shorter one for there, and the longer one would definitely work at the back here. Remember, we're always planning to avoid disappointment. Got a magnetic drill, so instead of me holding it, the drill does it for me. Let's drill that one in. Just until it takes that bite, follow it home. Oh, I love that sound. That just means it's really nice and tight. Then I'm going to repeat the process on this side. I've been using a drill for years, and the safest way to drill two pieces of wood together would be clamp them down. Nice. So then, here's our laptop stand. But if we put a laptop on there, it's just going to slide off. Not good. So now, feed it through. As long as the timber is not higher than the laptop and it sits about the same as the laptop itself, so it doesn't get in the way, it's kind of easy. Hold on, where's my pen? Bosh. And that's it, one simple laptop holder. You can paint it, you can design it however you want, but it is really, really simple. And it doesn't cost that much. If you ask nicely down at your timber yard, you never know, you might get all the offcuts. And then you've got it sorted. The beauty in lots of homes is you could have hidden treasures lurking behind anywhere. Sometimes you just need to look for them.
You know, this is an absolute crime, and no, I'm not talking about the picture, I'm talking about this old fireplace boarded up in someone's infinite wisdom back in the 60s and 70s, and what we're going to do right now is bring it back to its former glory. So now we've got rid of the plaster, it's time to just pull away the plasterboard, which is so damp, it's just coming away very, very easily. All right, there we go. Just need to tidy up now. Oh, boy, that weighs an absolute ton, but then it's what you'd expect from solid oak. That's going to be the mantelpiece, and I reckon that's going to look the business when it's in place. This here is the hearth, that's slate. Both of those items, you could say, are kind of cosmetic, but this here is very much not cosmetic. It's got two rolls. It's going to sit above the fireplace here and stop these bricks sagging down. And in addition to that, this little beveled edge here means we're going to get a much better draw of air through this fireplace, which means the fire's going to be far more efficient. One thing we have had just done is the chimney sweep in, so he's cleaned the chimney. So all it means for me to do now is put it all together. So a couple of bricks out here, a couple of bricks out there, and this will just slot into place. Now, with the bricks that we've removed either side, you'll see that we're still left with a bit of a gap. So what we need to do is lift both ends up, pack underneath, bit of cement, and that'll sort that little problem out. And I reckon that should do the job. That's the last wedge in place. It's now a case of cementing all the way round. It's a long time since this fireplace has been used, and we want to improve its appearance. The easiest way of doing that is to repoint the brickwork. So first things first, we need to rake out the old mortar, which is actually quite soft. You can do it with any implement, a chisel, hammer and bolster, or with a drill, with a masonry bit on the end. Just watch this. Comes out a real treat. Beautiful job. So, all the mortar's been raked out because this is where the mantelpiece is going. I'm taking it back to the brickwork, and I've stripped off the old paper in preparation. So let's give it a whack here. Beautiful job. That's looking good. So this has just been screwed into the wall with raw plugs, and there are brackets along the top, and then I've also screwed it in underneath as well. So there we go, mantelpiece on. Next, a bit of pointing. So what we're doing here is using a cement mix, which is fairly standard. It's 3 parts sand, 1 part cement, a little bit of washing up liquid to give it some elasticity. We're going to just brush all the brickwork down and create a nice rustic feel along where we've just pointed. And that really does look grand. Yeah, pleased with that. Now, I can't pretend for a moment to be an expert plasterer because it takes years to learn how to do it properly. But when you're doing a little job like this, there's no reason why you shouldn't have a go yourself. It just takes a little bit of patience, that's all. Nice job. Now, you'll notice that I've put this little frame around it here so we can get an absolute sharp, accurate edge. I haven't got far to go now, just a little bit more down here, and that'll be that. Now, I had to wait a couple of hours for the plaster to set, and that comes away a treat. We've got a nice finished edge all the way around there, so last job now, got to put some cement down and lay the hearth. Now, you'll notice here that I'm leaving a gap in between these lines of cement. There's a reason for that. It's not just me being lazy. And the reason is that when we put the hearth on, it'll squash everything down. It'll actually be a lot easier for us to level it off. That's the theory. And after that, a bit of cement in there. Bob's your uncle, Norma's your aunt. And there's the job done. All we have to do is wait until that cement goes hard, and then in goes the dog grate, and one real fire. You can't beat it. One thing I would say before you attempt to do this yourself is make sure you have a smoke test done, just to be absolutely certain that your fireplace can actually handle a real living fire. But this one does, and I'm pleased with that.
You can obviously do this yourself, but before taking on any structural work, make sure you consult a professional. There are endless styles you could choose from, and really, it's down to your personal taste. Why not pop down to a salvage yard and see what they have to offer? If you're uncertain about any of the things you've seen today, consult a professional. And if you're going to do any structural work, make sure you chat to your local council. Whatever you take from today, give DIY a go. You can make some amazing things. See you next time.